you're here with Olivia, and in today's review, we're going to be going over Final Destination, the first movie. So, as you guys might know, there is a sixth Final Destination movie coming out this Thursday. Yeah, there are 6 of these movies now. I have only seen the first one. I have not seen any of the other ones. I don't know if it's worth it to watch the other ones. A lot of people said the second one is like the best. I do want to give that a try. But in the meantime, I thought I'd just go over the first one and give like a quick little recap and review since, to kind of freshen up your minds if you guys are going to see the new one. Alright, before we get started on the Final Destination review, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. Alright, now let's get started. A class of kids is going to France for a trip, and they're gonna fly on a plane, but Alex, one of the students, aka our main character, who is played by Devon Sawa, gets a premonition about the plane crashing. So he freaks out, runs off the plane, and, a couple of his classmates go with him, and he saves their lives because the plane indeed does crash. But they didn't get out of there that easily. The situation gets a little complicated when death starts chasing them. Cause you can't cheat death or try and escape it. So this movie is kind of like a mystery because you're like, oh my gosh, stuff keeps happening, what's going on? Now, my parents did make a comment, they're like, yeah, this was scary for us back in the day. It's not a horror movie, there's no monsters or anything, but it definitely leaves you with an eerie vibe at the end. This movie still holds up very well. It's super fun, super entertaining. Is it scary? No. But I definitely wouldn't go showing little kids this just because it does deal with the concept of death. And it can be very, very intense. Honestly, Final Destination was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be because it was a new concept. There's not many movies out there that are kind of like this. It was very simple writing. They didn't go all in on the supernatural aspect. The movie was very short. It's only an hour and a half. It gets to the point. I just googled this quick, but after Final Destination 1 and all the other movies, they're all standalone movies. They're not based off of the first one that will eventually lead up to this new movie. So after Final Destination movie number 5, it all will connect and tie in together. So I would definitely rewatch them. I'll probably try and watch them all before Thursday, just because there's probably some stuff you're gonna need to know. But we'll get into all that stuff later. For now, let's just talk about the first Final Destination. Okay, the main characters in this movie are Alex Browning, played by Devon Sawa, Clear Rivers, played by Ali Larter, Terry Chaney, played by Amanda Detmer, Billy Hitchcock, played by Sean William S., Carter Horton, played by Kerr Smith, and Todd Wagner, played by Chad Danella. And all these kids were great actors and actresses. Although the only person who I didn't like in the movie, not because of their acting skills, but just I didn't like how the character was kind of wrote and stuff, was Clear Rivers. She kind of gave off Bella Swan vibes. I don't know, she was kind of creepy, and she felt kind of off in the movie. I don't really know what the whole deal with her was. It was kind of obvious she liked the main dude, Alex. She kind of made me a little mad. But other than her, everybody else was good. Even the bully, Carter, because he was supposed to be, in every movie that took place kind of in the 80s, 90s time period, you have the whole crew. The stereotypical jocks, nerds, bullies, all that stuff. Even though Carter had some very poor decision-making skills, it's how he was wrote. I respected it. He wasn't annoying, just kind of a douche. As for some of the other characters, like Terry Chaney, Todd, Valerie Luton, they kind of kill off, right away in the movie. Which is also what I really like about this movie. Once again, it's very short, so the pacing is very fast. They introduce all these characters. They kind of, build up okay, this is who this person is. This is their character type, their archetype. And then they kill them off. Which is what I really appreciated about this movie. A lot of movies coming out nowadays are 2 hours, 2.5 hours long. And there's just nothingness in the first half of the movie. Even, I saw the movie Until Dawn recently, which I didn't do a review of that, just because honestly I didn't think it was gonna do that well. But even that movie, they spent so long at the beginning of the movie, getting the characters situated, building up all this lore. They really didn't have to. Just say, yeah, my sister went missing, let's go find her. Like, there's so much time wasted at the beginning of movies trying to, like, set everything up when there doesn't need to be. Like, right away, in Final Destination 1, you saw Alex, and he was feeling very uncomfortable, he was sweating, he just didn't look too good, and then like chaos erupted when he had the premonition, and then chaos erupted again when it actually happened. So yeah, basically, Alex has like some ability, some supernatural power, where he kind of can see things and get premonitions of certain things before they happen. He'll get like signs. Sometimes they're very obvious, like the plane one where he straight up saw happen, or sometimes they're a little more random and it could be just coincidental. Like, for example, before his friend Todd died, the premonition he got was his magazine got shredded in his fan, and a name, like the only piece of paper left that like kind of floated over to him was his friend's name. It said Todd. And then his friend Todd actually died like a few minutes later. That one was a bit more random and coincidental, and also very unexpected. A lot of the deaths in here were hilariously unexpected. Like, for example, when Terry died, Carter's girlfriend, she just, like, walked in the middle of the road after she broke up with him. She's like, I hope you drop dead. Gets hit by a bus and dies. I laughed, but then felt bad. So yeah, this movie is super fun. I'd say it holds up. It'll probably hold up for, like, you know, couple more years or so, and then it will get a little campy, just because some of the special effects did look like X-Files, like very old, not that intense and probably scary as it would have been if you watched it when it first came out. Like the electricity, for example, when Clear Rivers was like, you know, hanging on her house and like she was in her car and like things were starting on fire and there was electricity everywhere. That definitely looked very fakey, but in a fun way. Obviously, if you're not a fan of like those older 80s, 90s movies, because they look campy and cheesy, you're probably not going to appreciate this movie as much. But if you're someone like me, who doesn't really care how things necessarily look, how like, you know, the explosions and like the productions look, as long as there's a really compelling, entertaining story, good actors, and a set of characters, as long as it's like a new and fun concept, I'm in. My honest review of this movie was I really liked it a lot, but it's definitely not something I'd watch again for a while. Like, it is a really fun movie, but it's also very old. I do want to watch the rest of the Final Destination movies. I think, like, you know, those will probably look a little better. And I heard, you know, the second one and, like, the fifth one are the best. So I am interested to see that. Sadly, I just watched Final Destination last night, and I just found out that the sixth Final Destination was coming out on Thursday, so I didn't have any time to, like, watch all the movies and review them all like I wanted to. I can probably get one more review in if you guys want to see, like, the second one or something. Or I have a couple other movies I could do. Honestly, I've kind of been, like, struggling with ideas of, like, what movies I should review, because other than Final Destination, which is this Thursday, there's no more big movies coming out until, like, it's either in 2 weeks? I think it's in 2 weeks from now, when, like, Lilo and Stitch, How to Train Your Dragon, and all those bigger movies are coming out. So right now, like, I've just been, like, struggling for ideas of what to film. Although the new Conjuring movie is coming out in September. Didn't know they're making a third one. Saw the first two, they were really good. Really surprised on the third one coming out. I was thinking of doing, I know 28 Years Later is coming out soon, the zombie one. So after this Final Destination review, I'll see the movie on Thursday of the sixth Final Destination review. I can post that one. And then I was thinking I could start with 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, and 28 Years Later when it comes out. Which is the 28 zombie franchise. So I could do those ones if y'all are interested. Or I could do like some more horror movies if you guys like would like to see a Sinister review. Or some older nostalgic movies. Just let me know in the comments. But yeah, basically the whole idea behind Final Destination 1 is there's a design out there. There's a bigger plan. There's a time for you to die. Like, it's not an accident. It's not coincidental. There's a certain time limit you have, and then when death says it's up, it's up. So basically, you're born with a death date. Whether it's that day, the next year, the next 20 years, the next hour. It'll just happen, but these kids tried to escape it, and some of them managed to cheat it. But just because they managed to get out one time doesn't mean they could keep getting out. Death will always chase after them then, so they'll constantly be running and scared for the rest of their lives. Either they died then and now, or they managed to escape it for a while until it finally caught them. It was definitely a very fun, controversial, interesting, awesome idea and concept. But yeah, it definitely brings up for like a really interesting topic of discussion, because I mean, if there really is like a grand scheme of things, and there is a whole path laid out before you, when you're supposed to die and how you're supposed to die, then it could be really unfair and awful. Especially if someone who was like just born, or just won the lottery, or just got married, or just had a kid, and then they're supposed to die the next day. It's kind of ironic, especially if it is the lottery one. That was an Alanis Morissette reference. If you got it, it might have been a little bit of a stretch. Or, I mean, it could just all be coincidental. But yeah, this movie was definitely really awesome. I can't say it's my favorite of all time, or I definitely can't say it's my favorite in general, and it's definitely not up there for me. It was a cute 1 or 2 time watch. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think of this review, what you guys think about Final Destination and the whole, like, greater design of death and stuff. Make sure to like if you've enjoyed, subscribe and hit that notification bell, and please let me know in the comments what type of content you like to see from me for a while before all these big new movies come out. If you guys would like to see the 28 Days Later franchise leading up to 28 years later, if you guys would like to see nostalgic movies, like more nostalgic movies like the Final Destination movies, if you guys would like me to do nostalgic horror movies like Pet Sematary, or just horror movies in general. I could also do movies that are streaming now that are like new and streaming, like I know the movie Hard Eyes, that was like released over Valentine's Day in the theaters. It just came out on streaming. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Go watch Final Destination. I recommend watching the whole movie so you know what the 6th one's gonna be about. Thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you around.